Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Mindset Elevation Coach Linda Joy, publisher of the beloved Aspire magazine. Can you believe Aspire is going to be turning 20 years old in February? And for 20 years, we have been given a free subscription to women around the world. It's part of my love project to the world. It's a magazine filled with feminine wisdom from leading visionaries, teachers, and guides who are here to help you elevate every area of your life. If you don't have your free subscription, go to subscribe to aspire.com. Well, I got to tell you, my friends, I think we'll all agree that we all face mountains in life. I know I have, whether it's grief, self-doubt, financial hardship, divorce, you name it. How we contend with those mountains, those challenges, is what makes the difference. Resilience, purpose, and personal empowerment aren't reserved for the lucky few. We all have that power within to overcome these challenges, and we have to take the first step. So today I am so excited. I'm holding her book in my hand to have Dianette Wells, an elite mountaineer, adventure racer, and author who embodies the power of passion-driven resilience. One of fewer than 100 people to conquer the 7 summits, including Everest, Kilimanjaro, and Denali. She's also raced 150 plus miles across deserts, biked across America, and competed in multiple eco challenges and ultra marathons worldwide, many of them televised. A mother of 3, Dianette's journey took a profound turn in 2015 when her son Johnny, a record-setting adventurer himself, passed away in a wingsuit accident. Channeling grief into grit, Dianette continued pushing her boundaries, from summiting peaks to writing her memoir, Another Step Up the Mountain, a journey of courage. She's now on a mission through her speaking and writing to inspire others to chase their own Everest, whatever the odds. Dianette, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I have to tell you, we were chatting offline, and I just love your spirit. I just love your mission, and your book was so deeply personal. I felt like I was on the mountain with you sometimes, right? The journey, the emotions. But let's go backwards a little bit, right? I would love to know, the question I always ask guests is, what led you to this work that you're doing now? And for you, it's not work, it's a mission. So what led you to mountain climbing and, being an elite mountaineer? When did that journey start? When did that passion start?
It wasn't planned by any means. It was something as simple as um, driving past the Sierras on my way to go skiing in Mammoth, which, if you live in Southern California, Mammoth is the best place to go skiing. Um, and just seeing these very sharp, jagged peaks and being intrigued by them. And then as an adult, getting a group of crazy fun women together to actually climb Mount Whitney. And that it was just this inner drive that I acknowledged and I I honored and did it. I had no idea how it would change my life, but that one climb changed everything in my life.
And just have the courage to try something new. So were you always, especially that physical, were you always an athletic person? Because you said you skied. So that part of your life previous to this new journey?
Not really. I mean, I was a cheerleader in high school and college, but could I run around the block? No. When when I first met my ex-husband, he was a big athlete, and he'd want to go on a run, and uh, like I didn't even have the right shoes, and I could barely run around the block. So yeah, no, I was not some athlete by any stretch of the imagination. After having kids, I joined a gym, and for reasons that weren't healthy, I wanted to be thin and be that perfect thin Malibu housewife. But no, I was not an athlete at all. And um, but when you love something and you realize, oh, this is what I want to do, then you start doing whatever's necessary, you know, to make that happen. So because it was, mountaineering at the time or hiking and climbing, I just hiked all the time.
Yeah, and I love that. It's like you followed your passion and then look at the life that unfolded with it, right? And I tell my clients, follow your joy.
It's crazy how you follow that one thing that makes you happy and the universe steps up. And I look back of how that one climb with a group of friends changed my entire life.
Yeah, and I believe that too. I believe we're always being divinely led, led by spirit, universe, whatever word you all may use. You're used to these conversations when you listen to my show. But the divine is always saying, "Oh, I have this vision for you, but I need you to take the next courageous step, and I'll reveal the next step." And that's what it sounds like it happened. You followed that joy and passion to gather those friends together to go on that first one, and look what unfolded since. But it also takes courage, doesn't it? You have to step through fears and the self-doubt. Did you experience that also?
Not for that climb, only because I had no idea what I didn't know. And this is before the internet, as far as we know the internet now. So it wasn't like I Googled how to climb Mount Whitney. It was kind of crazy. And the gear list, I remember going to a friend's house because she had a printer or a typewriter or something. So I printed out a gear list for all of us. Um, and looking back, it just seems so, archaic how this all happened. And I'm sure we had way too much stuff in our backpacks and did everything wrong, but it was an adventure. And, I laughed like crazy. I saw my amazing friends, go out of their comfort zones as well. And it, just this one little thing of let's go have fun really changed everything. And I think, sometimes we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. So like you said, just what is that one little thing that makes you happy? And now go do more of it.
Yeah, I truly believe that, especially as aging, it's like follow the joy. Life gives you enough of the other stuff. We have to stay aligned with that. So
Absolutely.
I love that you've now, with all the life experiences you've had and the loss, that you're on a mission, through appearances like this and writing your book to inspire others to chase their own Everest. And when I read that, I was like, how many of us have dreams? Or maybe we are facing an obstacle. And we have this self talk that says, who am I to want to climb Everest? Who am I to want to run my first 5K? Whatever it may be, whatever their Everest is. What is something that you would share with someone who is kind of stopping themselves from going after their Everest?
So whenever that, why me? Why should I? Why not you? Who says? Wherever that negative voice is coming from, whether it's from your friends, your partner, um, you know, who are they to tell you what your dreams are? You're not on this planet to live for someone else. I mean, we can take care of our loved ones and family and friends, but no one is entitled to dictate our dreams or take them away from us. So if whatever that goal that you have in life, no matter how crazy it seems, you know what? Why not you? And what does it hurt to at least try it? You can always go back to however your life is now or, something else. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And even if you fail, what's failure? Failure is just learning that, oh, maybe this isn't for us. Let me try something else. So, yeah, you got to take those negative voices and, I envision it like a rocks in a backpack. Take those rocks and dump it. And every time you have that negative voice or thought in your head, just laugh at it and go do what it is that you feel inspired to do.
I love that. And I think for all of us, it's quelling. I used to call mine the negative Nelly. I'm like, okay, Nelly, get in the back seat. You're
I think
not doing
that's what I
any
call
good.
mine. Not being a
You
negative.
do?
Yeah, I love that word.
Yeah, I do. I've always called her that. And then I apologize to all the Nellies in my audience who are listening. It's not
Yes.
personal. It's just something that came up. And I now envision that when she comes up, it's just the little girl in me that always heard that kind of stuff. And she's not doing it to hold me back. She's doing it because she's part of me. So I always recognize her and say, it's all right, you're safe. But I'm going to drive now. You can get in the back seat because my negative Nelly used to like to, control the path I was taking. So at least she's heard. I love to say, listen to her, love her, nurture her, and then have her get in the back seat. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be back in a moment with Dianette Wells. You can learn more at dianettewells.com. While you're there, I want to invite you to grab a copy of Another Step Up the Mountain, A Journey of Courage, her new book, and I got to tell you, it will pull you right in, my friends. We'll be back in a moment.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Beautiful soul, are you craving a soul nurturing community of women interested in personal and spiritual development? You're not alone. When you step onto the virtual campus of Inspired Living University, a sacred community and curriculum for women on the path of self-discovery, you become a soulful part of our high vibe family of women where you can grow, learn, and be reminded of your truth and power. Along with 2 mindset elevation circles each month with founder Linda Joy, you receive on-demand access to a sacred curriculum that includes a library of personal and spiritual development classes led by leading luminaries on topics that support you in living your most magical and intentional life. These high-value master classes are just the beginning of your transformational journey. Step into the circle today at inspiredlivinguniversity.com/sacred-invite.
Consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business by tuning in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. Join me for your light language activation and let's magnetize and monetize.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and with me today is elite mountaineer, adventure racer, and author of Another Step Up the Mountain, Dianette Wells. And we're going to continue our conversation about how to face life's toughest emotional mountains with the heart of a climber. So, Dianette, I know it's you've gone through something that, as many of us moms know, is something that you can't even put words to, and that's losing a child. And I bring it up today because it's an important part of your message. It's an important part of your healing. It's an important part of your book. And so just bring us to that point about your child and what that catalyst has happened since then, because I think that's really enhanced your mission in life. So I'll let you lead that conversation wherever you would like it to go.
Um, well, we just had the 10-year anniversary of his passing. Um, and normally it would have been you know, sit on the couch, drink Chardonnay, and watch Netflix all day. And I chose instead to go climb a mountain that he loved climbing and that I've always loved climbing, and to kind of honor him in a different way. And if you had told me when he first passed that you would make it to the 10-year mark, I didn't think that was possible. I couldn't imagine living, 1 minute versus 10 years without him. But um yeah, it's you lose a child, it's not something you ever get over or get through or get past. It just becomes something you live with. Like if you had your arm chopped off, it's not something you get over, but it's something you learn to live with. Um, and yeah, so I try to live a life where when I do see him again, and I fully believe I will, um, that I just want him to say, good job, mom. Way to keep living. And, because life here on this planet is meant for the living. And when we lose people, we think, sometimes, what am I here for? What is the point? But maybe that's trying to find your purpose and why we're still here and why can't we be with them. But the bottom line is it's just not our time. And while we're here, we need to enjoy life. We need to experience joy and love and happiness. And those aren't things you think that you'll ever have again, um, when this happens. But you have to fight for it, and you have to stay in the game.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me years ago that lost a child, probably 20 years ago. And she said to me, for every time I thought I couldn't make it through another day, I reminded myself that I'm not here. If I don't stay here, in this body on this earth, then all his memories go away too. So she used that as I will not let me or others forget. And Johnny was, sounds like he got your spirit. He was a record-setting adventurer,
Yes.
and and that is what took him, was one of his adventures. And just can feel his spirit. Like he must have had a lot of your sass, huh?
um, of all the family, I would say we were the most similar. His zest for life and his fearlessness was absolutely unmatched. And um, yeah, if you go on YouTube and put in Johnny Strange, um, his videos are, you know, thrilling to watch and amazing. And there is a documentary about him called American Daredevil that's on Peacock. And it's also called, on Tubi, it's called Born to Fly Johnny Strange, which I highly recommend watching his movie. Um, yeah, he was an amazingly gifted athlete from a young age and was always pushing the limits. And yeah, he climbed the seven summits by the time he was 17. He had big wave surf in Nazare. There was nothing this kid couldn't do. And, he lived an amazing, amazing life.
Wow, he really did. Look at the legacy he left behind. That the fact that people can go see and feel his spirit, his love of nature, it sounds too. His legacy is continuing,
Yeah,
right?
I am grateful for all the videos he made because I can just go and see him and hear his voice and
Laugh with him and be a part of his experience, right? It's like being back with him in the only way you can at this moment in time, because like you, I believe you will be reconnected again.
yeah.
So let's talk about how extreme challenges, like the loss of a child, or maybe for someone else it's a divorce or loss of a job, how extreme challenges can teach us who we really are. So could you speak about that for a moment?
Sure. I think sometimes the universe, you know, maybe we're supposed to be on a different path, but we're never going to leave the safety of that 9 to 5 job because that's what we're in, that's what we're stuck with in that lane. And sometimes maybe it's the universe who says, oh, let's take this away from this person and get them to be on their highest path and what is best for them. And sometimes it makes us, you know, reach for things that we never thought about reaching for. Or, when you look at these people who've left these amazing corporate jobs and then they go become a river guide and find such a deeper level of happiness that they never would have gone for had they not lost that job. And so sometimes, you know, when something bad is happening, I try now to go, okay, why is this happening? Not just, being upset that it's happening, but looking at what is the reason? Why is this happening for me? And what can I do with it? And what new opportunities is this bringing to me? And, it can help take the hurt and the pain and the uncertainty of something happening. And it's just reframing it. And, you know, it can be really scary, but sometimes these things happen, for an unknown great reason. And we just have to kind of go with it.
Oh, I've been there, my friend, so I get that. And I don't know about you, but I can look back at all those moments in my life that I didn't think I would even live through or emotionally get through, like my darkest days. And I can look back now from where I am and go, oh, I see why that happened. Because now I can see how it ties into who I am now or the path that unfolded for me. And I can see that even in my darkest times, I was being honed, prepared, some shedding had to take place so that I could live my truest light and not the limiting story I was living. So when I look back, I can see all my different, I guess you could say, I don't like calling them negative experiences. The experiences that challenged me most, we'll say, I really got my um, hmm, biggest sense of self through those experiences. I wouldn't be who I was today if I didn't have them. So I kind of look at them in a different way now. But when you're in the midst of them, especially with your experience, you think you're never going to come out the other side. And this show, my magazine, all my other media brands are all about believing in possibility, even when you can't see the light ahead. And I bet climbing, and all the mountaineering you've done, there must have been many times on a mountain or on one of your other adventures that you couldn't see the path ahead because of weather or whatever it may be. So isn't that like a story about life too?
Yeah, I mean, with any adventure, which I think is why I love adventure so much, is we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, any start line, you could trip and break your leg and your race is over. So for me, all of these adventures is, the big part of it is just showing up. And then, like life, seeing what happens next. You do everything to prepare and to give it your best shot, but ultimately we don't know what's going to happen next. And that's why you do your best to show up as fit and as prepared as you can. And the rest isn't necessarily always up to us, but it's part of enjoying the journey. I mean, every day of life is part of the journey. We have goals that we aim for, and we hope those goals happen, but it's also what is the journey to getting there, and enjoying it, good or bad. That's when bad things happen and we're trying to figure out why. I mean, maybe we don't know for years, and I still, I mean, for me, there will never be a positive reason that I lost my son.
Exactly.
I'll never understand the reason. I don't even care what the reason is. There is nothing positive to it. But I can take this very bad experience and try to make some positive things come from it. But there are just some things that will never be explained, or that will be acceptable, but I can still make something positive from it. I can help others. I can try to inspire others. Um, but yeah, some things will just never have an explanation.
Yeah, and you have to find a place of peace with that, right? Of never not
Yeah.
knowing why. I think for so many of us, we will continue to question things and it takes away our peace. Sometimes we're not meant to know the reason why. I've had to come to peace in a couple circumstances in my life, um, and say, okay, we can't change it. Why am I going to give my life force energy to it? But let's see what I can do with this life force energy. And look what you've been doing. Not only are you inspiring others through your story, but also through Johnny's story, right? Because he is part of your story. And keeping his legacy and his spirit and life alive, that you turned into something beautiful and positive. So I can see this ripple effect of the two of you changing the world right now. So we're going to take our next break, Dianette, and we'll be back in a moment, my friends. And we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this conversation with this beautiful soul. And I invite you to visit dianettewells.com. As always, all links are in the show notes on whatever platform you're watching, so the link will be down there. And grab a copy of her book, Another Step Up the Mountain. We'll be back in a moment, my friends.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
There is a softer way to live. In a world that moves fast and asks us to do the same, it takes courage to slow down, to pause, to breathe, to remember your natural rhythm. Jessica Bain Robert is a professor of mindfulness at Clark University and the founder of the Barred Owl Retreat in central Massachusetts. With over 20 years of experience, she has honed her gifts to become a transformational mindfulness coach, sound healer, forest bathing guide, NLP coach, writer, and speaker. Through online offerings and in-person sound baths, workshops, and retreats, she supports women in navigating transition, reconnecting with their inner wisdom, and creating lives fueled by clarity, purpose, and peace. Download your Mindful Awakening, guided visualizations, and journal prompts for daily peace and clarity gift set at bardowlretreat.com and learn more about Jessica's soulful offerings.
If I could be you,
and you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world.
Thanks for circling up today. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm Linda Joy. With me today is elite mountaineer and author of Another Step Up the Mountain, Dianette Wells. So, Dianette, you talk a lot about resilience. How has you see it as a skill? But did you always see that? Is it something we can all build within ourselves?
I mean, I think we all have it in us. I mean, I know we do, or half of us wouldn't live as long as we do. I had a very unpleasant childhood, and there was something in me that mentally fought back, and I would always tell myself, just make it till you're 18, just make it till you're 18, you can get out of this. And, the minute I was 18, I was still in high school. I moved out of my house, and, I just felt that nothing will hold me back from this point forward. And so even as a kid, I had resilience, as, a lot of kids do. And that just kind of carried over into adulthood. I mean, it's not always I'm not always as strong as I wish I was. I mean, I don't know who is, but um, yeah, it's just it's in all of us. I don't think it's something we have to learn. I think it's just sticking up for yourself. It's honoring who you are, and in the hardest of times, just keeping moving forward, keeping keeping your head held high and not giving in to whatever it is that's trying to bring you down.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I remember reading in your book, you have two beautiful girls, correct?
I do.
Yeah, and they must have played an important part in your healing and desire to stay here when you were in your deepest pain at losing Johnny. Because sometimes we become so, I've lost loved ones, never a child, so I can't even imagine. But that feeling of not wanting to be here anymore, but then looking at the girls going, but I need to stay. It's like that inner tug of war, isn't it?
It is. And, you know, if if I were to give up, what does that tell my girls? That they didn't matter, that the only one who mattered was their brother. Um, you know, and I think it helps that I know that I will see him again and I will have my time with him again. But in the meantime, I have two beautiful living children who matter just as much to me as Johnny did. And, I would never call it quits on them, because they matter too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of looking at it and so insightful. So, how would you say that we can rewrite our story? Because as a mindset elevation coach, one of the things that I see a lot is we carry around this inner script that we let run our lives, right? And we think it's our truth. And how did you rewrite your story? How do you suggest or guide others to rewrite that inner narrative that is keeping them from living their dreams, climbing Everest, their Everest?
Um, every day that you wake up is a new day to write a new script. Um, what was that line in Gone with the Wind where, one of the final scenes where she says, "Oh, tomorrow's another day," or something like that. But I saw that when I was a kid, and I think about that so much that, yeah, whatever happened yesterday, that's in the past. What can I do today to make today good and tomorrow better? And, again, that negative Nelly voice, just turn her into, I don't know, positive Penny or something. But, you know, stay with the positive, even when you're in your lowest and everything feels negative. Just, you know, tell Nelly to, yeah, not only get in the back seat, but get out of the car entirely. Um, really, every day is a new day, and you just got to go for it.
I love that because it's exactly that. Is if we give up, we'll never know what we could have done, whether it's a job, a relationship, whatever it is that our deepest dreams are. I believe it's right there. And what I've discovered in my own life is every time I was about to quit, I can see now that if I had what I wanted was right on the other side of that quitting, everything came because I pushed through, which is resilience, right? And like you, I had the childhood from hell, so I can relate, my friend. So one of the things too is I'm really curious because when you're up on that mountain and you got the elements, you have everything, including negative Nelly with you. How the heck did you create such mental and emotional fortitude? Because that is some of the things you're doing is some of the most challenging experiences the human body and human psyche can do. Was that something you just learned and kept honing as these experiences happened? Or do you think you had that innate essence within you always?
Well, I don't allow negative Nelly on a mountain with me or in a race or any athletic thing I'm doing. There's just no room for her. But also, when I'm doing these things, I'm having a really good time. So for me, it's just, I'm having fun. So why would I think negatively? If I thought, oh, I can't do this, I wouldn't have paid to do it. Um, I have really good gear. I mean, gear is no matter what you're doing, have the right stuff because it can make things easier. People always say, oh, you must have been freezing on Everest. I was like, no, it was actually pretty warm. I had a great down suit. So, yeah, for me, those things, I don't look at it as resilience to climb a mountain or do any of this stuff. I'm having a good time. So, um, yeah, I don't look at it it's physically hard 100%. Especially during an adventure race when you're awake on hour 40 and you're hallucinating and you just are wondering what am I doing? But then I remind myself I paid to be here. I'm with really fun, great people, and I'm having even if I'm in a lot of pain, I chose to be there and I'm actually having a good time. So um, I think the resilience part for me just comes in the day-to-day life. But yeah, when I'm doing sports, I'm having the time of my life and that's my happy place. So um, if I'm trying to think, there was a part in Eco Challenge Fiji, which is available on Amazon Prime, that the last race in Fiji, and you can see just how insane adventure racing is. But it was in the middle of the night. It's raining. It's freezing. We're going up through this river, and there's this massive boulder with just a rope hanging down. And I'm looking at this thing. My teammates are spread out along this river. Two guys in front of me, one guy behind me. So I'm not within earshot of any of my teammates. And I thought, how am I going to get up that rope? And for a second, I just thought, is this where I quit? How do I do this? And somehow I just went up to that rope and just started pulling myself up it. I, I can't just describe how or why I was able to do that, but instead of just quitting, you just try. You can quit at any time, but why not keep trying and go as long and as far and as hard as you can?
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Put it this way. I would rather something you said at the beginning of the show about failure, right? To me, I thought I had a fear of failure. I actually had a fear of success in my younger years, right? I've been an entrepreneur for 34 years now. Um, for me, failure is feedback, right? So when I switched that, I realize I can't really fail at anything. I feel I fail if I don't try. Does that make sense? Like, I
100%.
can't fail at the doing because at least I showed up and tried. And all that the experience will teach me is, okay, maybe how you did it this time didn't work because that's the feedback, right? From the
Yeah.
experience. So what could you do different? Where I feel in my younger years, I would have the experience, it wouldn't go the way I want. I would look at it as a failure and go, oh, that's not meant for me. And I would shut down all possibility. Does that speak to you too?
Um, a little bit like so during I don't know if it was COVID or what was going on, but I was feeling stagnant. So I signed up for and I kid you not, a knitting course because I thought, oh, that would be something good to keep my hands busy. And I was awful at it. And then the teacher said, well, let's do a private one-on-one to see if we can, you know, get you better at this. And maybe 10 minutes in, she just said, I don't think this is in your wheelhouse. And I said, oh, thank goodness, because I really am not enjoying this. But at least I tried. And now I know I'm not a knitter. And that's okay, because there are other things I'm good at that I enjoy. Um, so yeah, it's another
Well, I love that story because as you talk about your elite mountaineering, I'm like, okay, that's not for me. Like it's a knowing. That's why I like so admire you because of um I don't want to say how much you push yourself because I can feel the joy in what you do. Like I can feel this is a true passion for you. To others, it may be like, how is she doing this? Right? What is she crazy? But I can feel the joy and passion
I
of
mean, it's it's so true, and I can see it in my face when when you have to pose for pictures and they're telling you, oh, smile. And I'm so bad at that. I'm not good at the smile on command. But then I look at pictures of myself when I'm outside, especially, climbing or riding my bike or something, and the smile on my face is so big. And it's like, oh, there it is. It's because I am feeling such joy. And, even when I did Whitney on October 1st, that was the 17th time that I've climbed that mountain. It was my 15th summit. And, I'm 59 years old and I was having the time of my life. And I didn't say, oh, well, you're older now. Maybe you shouldn't be doing these things. It was, you know, one of the other women on this climb and we're going to go back again next year and see how fast we can do it and how we can do it better. So I never try to stop learning. I never try to stop improving on the things I love and forget the age thing. I mean, I don't even allow that to enter into my thinking. It's as long as I'm having fun, I'm going to keep doing these things.
That's a message for all of us, my friend. We're going to take our final break, Dianette, and we'll be back for our last segment. And everyone, please, I want you to grab a copy of Another Step Up the Mountain. The foreword was written by Mark Burnett. Many of you know him as the Emmy awarding television producer and the former chairman of MGM. And you've got to get this book, my friends. Go to DianetteWells.com. We'll be back in a moment.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Times Radio. FM.
Did you know that creativity is a spiritual practice and midlife is a renaissance and are an opportunity to weave wholeness, wonder, and wild wisdom into everyday life? Dr. Minette Riordan is a soul story guide, expressive arts facilitator, and the founder of the Sisterhood of Wisdom and Wonder. A lifelong creative and spiritual seeker, she helps midlife women reclaim their voice, purpose, and passion through storytelling, myth, and sacred self-expression. Minette is the creator of the Midlife Archetype Quiz and the transformational mythical makeover experiences. Blending deep psychology, expressive arts, and soulful play, she brings warmth, wisdom, and structure to the wild inner work of midlife transformation. Through retreats, courses, and her vibrant community, she invites women to remember who they are, one brushstroke, one story, one threshold at a time. Learn more at MinetteRiordan.com.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Free your mind with Times Radio. FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I am with Dianette Wells, elite mountaineer, adventure racer, and author who embodies the power of passion-driven resilience. One of the things I love to ask authors who join me, Dianette, is what is one thing that you hope women take away when they read your book?
That anything is possible.
No
matter what it is, no matter how crazy it sounds, that literally anything and everything is possible. And, certain situations where we feel that there's no way out, there are probably 10 ways out. And you just got to go with one. And, just anything in life that you want, just go for it.
Beautiful message, my friend. And for me, I think when someone reads the intimacy of your story, because it was so well written. Like I said earlier, I really felt like in some of the experiences, I was with you on the mountain. I could feel the emotions as you talked about your daughters, all of it. Um, I think it's also, and I haven't even got through the whole thing yet. It reminds us that, listen, life is full of ups and downs, right? Things that we can't explain away. But it doesn't have to take our joy. It doesn't have to take our inner peace. What would you say to that? Like, because hearing you now, speaking to you now, you you still have joy. You still, maybe you didn't for a while. I don't want to speak for you, but do you feel like you can experience life fully even in the midst of the loss of your son?
Wow, I have not been asked that before. That is an incredible question. Um, so in all honesty, I will say that um, the sparkle definitely was taken off the world for me. Um, and it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a flat sparkle at this point. And I will never forget the first time I was like felt just pure joy after he died, and then the immediate guilt I felt. Um,
Yeah.
I was in a restaurant in Tulum. My oldest daughter got me to go down there for Thanksgiving just so we would, do something different. She had a bunch of friends with her who, thank God, she has very funny, kind, beautiful friends. And we were in a restaurant, and the entire restaurant, the waiters were doing kind of a conga line and swinging their napkins. The entire restaurant was celebrating, and I just remember feeling like so happy and so like, wow, this is amazing. And then overcome with such guilt of how dare I be having a good time right now when, like Johnny's not here and oh my, and then I was so conflicted of, wait a second, I'm, so my first Thanksgiving without my son, I'm like, how can I be having joy right now? Um, so yeah, it was hard at first. I experience the most joy now when I'm outside, whether it's, paddling with this dragon boat team I'm on, um, which, thank God for my dragon boat team. Great, fun, amazing people um, who kick my ass 3 times a week. So that type of joy, I feel it when I'm doing what I love, which is sports. I feel him when I'm doing sports and in that elevated high vibrational space of joy and happiness. So yeah, it's a hard thing to live with. You feel guilty for being happy, but we are meant to live joyous, happy lives, and they want that for us, and we should want that for us.
Yeah, I've come to believe that myself too. It's like they would want us to be happy because that love crosses all boundaries. What I also heard in through what you just shared is the joy comes when you're out in nature, and it's almost like he's there with you, right? Because that's gave him the joy in this lifetime too, right? The action adventure. So it must feel like, all right, come on, you're coming with me on Everest or whatever your next challenge. Do you ever have that conversation with them and go, come on, let's go do this?
I don't even have to ask. I just feel he's there because
Yes.
I always, whenever I'm doing that stuff, I get amazing signs from him. Um, so I know that he's there. Um, I insane signs, some of which I write about in the book. So um, yeah, I know he's there, and I absolutely want to go back to Everest. I wanted to be there for my 60th birthday this year, but I have a big graduation for one of my kids, so I will be doing that instead. But yeah, I hope to go back in 27, and I know that if I do, Johnny will be right there as always, with me. And yeah, it's just doing things that make me happy, which I know when when those moments happen for me, I know he's there, and he gives me enough signs that it's not even a question. And it's again, we need to be open to those signs when they're presenting,
Yes.
because a lot of times we, maybe we don't believe in that stuff, which is fine. Everyone has to go with whatever is best for them. But if you're open and paying attention to the signs, they're there and you will see them.
Oh my God, most definitely. My last book that I published was called Divine Synchronicities. And it had a bunch of women's stories. I live my life watching for signs from the other side, from those I love that I've lost. But also I believe that whatever your source of love is, divine, universe, God, whatever it may be, is always trying to get us out of our head and say, are you present right now? Because I'm dropping this sign in front of you, trying to get you to steer to the right. And I have fun looking for them. The family picks on me. I'm like, 111, 1111. Numbers are big for me. Feathers, coins.
Yep.
Um, but sometimes too, I'll never forget, Dana lost a good friend. Probably Dana's my honey. He and Jeff were really good friends, and I've been with Dana 32 years. So I'd say about 28 years ago, Jeff, it's a crazy story. We were coming back from cross country. I never drive at night, but Dana was exhausted. We were on that last run home after a 4-week cross country trip. I'm like, I'll drive so we can get home. Shouldn't have been driving in the middle of the night. And I fell asleep at the wheel. The two of them were way in the back. And someone grabbed my shoulder. Now, Dana and Nikki, my daughter, were in the back, like the back of a truck. We had 2-row seats. So someone grabbed my shoulder, shouted my name. I overcorrected the vehicle. I don't know how I didn't flip it. And I kept looking at my shoulder like, who the hell did that? Because nobody's in the cab of the truck with me. They're in the sleep area. And I remember going, this is crazy. And Dianette, of course, Dana and Nikki are like, pull over. What the heck did you do? We got home and we hit the answering machine. And again, I kept feeling this hand, this powerful hand still on my shoulder. I could feel the energy of it. 11 hours later, and we hit the answer machine, and it said Jeff died unexpectedly last night. And that was before I almost went off the road. Now, here's the story. He was a blacksmith. He used to love taking his big, giant hands. His thumbs were the size of 2 of my fingers. He used to love putting it on my face because he could cover my whole face. That handprint, I knew without a doubt was Jeff saving us. To this day, I know it, and even Dana knew it. So I believe this sign's all around us, my friend. I believe Johnny's with you all the time, as well as with you girls. And I am so grateful for this conversation, that you took your story and turned it into a book. Your story needs to be heard. Your story of resilience, grief, everything you've gone through. You give us hope. You're going to empower and inspire people to believe in possibility, even when life brings us to our knees. So thank you for having the courage to write the book and share your story. It's truly inspiring, Dianette.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And I want to invite everyone, please visit Dianette at dianettewells.com. Again, the links are in the show notes. Grab a copy of Another Step Up the Mountain, A Journey of Courage. I got to tell you, my friends, it will inspire you to believe in possibility. Until next time, my friends, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness. Blessings, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.